Hey friends, thanks for being here today at Non-Toxic Home. I'm Leanna and I'm glad you're here and I'm coming at you from our Non-Toxic Home. I wanted to update you a bit about the G or 5GER satellite situation here. Oh goodness. So April 22nd this year, I pretty much crashed and burned. That was when SpaceX launched their 5G satellites. And that's a problem for me. I am EMF sensitive. I have never had a problem with satellites before in my entire life, as far as I know, anyways. And wow, that was a problem. No, we live in a very rural area. There isn't a lot of cellular coverage here, and there isn't a great deal of internet access from most people, or maybe half of the county. I don't know. It's a rural county. People come here to get away, to get a retreat from urban life and to enjoy nature. Now, what is nature without being able to sit in nature and stream a nature documentary, right? So, of course, we need that satellite coverage here. Anyways, I had various symptoms that I'd never had before, and I'm still having some of them. The shortness of breath, the hypoxia. That's the main issue that I'm having right now. I have been having more chest pains than I've had previously, except when I had been around radio frequencies. Radio frequencies are the only type of EMF that give me personally that sort of symptom. Now, the past week or so, my husband and I have been actually feeling better. We've been feeling better the past week or so than we have felt since the stupid satellites were launched in April. And that is because I finally found a source locally of spray-free produce. And our garden has not done well this year. Most gardens in this county have not done well this year. Most farmers this year are really, really, really struggling with weird stuff. In some cases, it's because of the rain. We're getting a month's worth of rain in like 2 or 3 days, and then no rain for 3 weeks. So it's flood, drought, flood, drought. So that's one problem. So the plants are stressed. We're getting weird bugs. This year I had spittle bugs, and I've never seen them before in my entire life. I've also got some other weird plant diseases and some other weird bugs that are just, I don't know. Anyways, so that's an issue. And then also there's a lot more stress on the plants and the food production from animals. There was a local farmer that I was talking to recently commiserating because they didn't have hardly any produce to offer to anyone this year. They had their turkeys and squirrels stealing their blueberries and stealing the food from their garden, and they never had that problem before either. So I know I'm not alone in this, but the big issue that I have in finding food is that so many places use latex gloves, and the 2020 zombie apocalypse, wow, now almost everyone uses latex gloves. Well, fortunately, I just recently found a source of spray-free food that they don't use latex gloves. They don't use any gloves at all there. And no, actually they do. They use, I think, vinyl. But they don't use latex gloves. They do wear masks. Thank you, Governor Holcomb, for your mask mandate. If they worked, then why did we shut down the economy? Okay. So the masks contaminate food because almost all masks have latex in them. And so you've got people right over your food contaminating them with latex. So even that food still is contaminated with latex, but it's minimal and I'm able to deal with it and decontaminate it enough so that I can eat it safely. Obviously, safest would be from my garden, which is almost fenced, one of my gardens anyways, but I haven't gotten hardly anything but chives out of it this year. So, but my husband and I are feeling better because we're living off of locally grown, spray-free fruits and vegetables. And Oh man, it helps so much. It feels so much better. So that's us. And this past week or so, I haven't had to spend a fourth of the time in the bathtub. And that is huge for me. I apologize. Our air conditioner over there just came on. So hopefully you can still hear me okay. My cat, that's a senior cat, I'm going to get him because he's sitting here begging right now. Buddy Boo. Hey, buddy. He he is really, really, really old. He's 18 or 19. And when the satellites were launched, he really went down hard as well. He felt so bad, and I was really concerned about his kidneys because he was drinking so much water. And what I figured out works for him, every cat's going to be different. This isn't veterinary advice or medical advice. Always consult your doctor and veterinarian about everything. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, prevent, mitigate, or address any symptom or diagnosis. Magnesium water for him. I'm putting a little bit of magnesium water in his food. He eats only wet food. And some yogurt and leftovers of our food when he wants it. He's allowed to have our leftovers when he wants it. And also grounding. I've been allowing him outside, and he figured out himself that grounding helps him, and he decided that he wants to sleep on the ground underneath the house, where it's nice and cool, and obviously he can ground. So those two things are what's helping him a lot. Our chickens, now the EMFs impact the voltage-gated calcium channel. Calcium, calcium, calcium. Calcium is a very delicate balance for chickens because their egg shells are calcium. So our chickens were really struggling there for a while. Not only were they slightly insane, I'm not kidding, they also were pecking their eggs that they had laid to get the calcium, because when they have enough calcium, they don't peck their eggs. They also were dropping a lot more eggs than usual without a shell. Now, it happens every so often that a chicken drops an egg without a shell. That's normal, but this was at least 5 eggs a week, maybe probably more. And that made me want to cry. And then there were 1 to 3 eggs a day that were pecked. So we weren't getting hardly any eggs there for a while either. And they sped up their production, or they improved their production, and then now it's a little bit less because of the heat. But to address their calcium, I have been drying and grinding up their eggshells with my Vitamix, which I already did before. I already made calcium powder for the garden and such out of eggshells, and I put that in their water and in their food, as well as on top of any food scraps from our kitchen. And those 3 things together, all of them together, and I have to do all of them, that's helping. Now, I sprained my wrist, so I wasn't able to do the calcium in their water like I wanted to there for a week or so. And it showed. It definitely impacted them. And I wasn't giving them food scraps with it on there either. So that definitely impacted as well. But I think I got it figured out, at least for now. Unfortunately, in August, I expect the waves to increase because they're going to be testing the satellites, at least in North America, at least in the United States. I don't look forward to that. And of course, there are more launches, which I don't keep track of because I don't want to know. And honestly, the space fence is real, and it's very creepy and not a good thing for us. The pollinators, by the way, are struggling around here. I've seen minimal pollinators this year. Even though I got stung in the butt in March outside, I've seen 2 large bumblebees, 1 ground bee, 1 honeybee, handful of butterflies. That's unprecedented. I live in the woods. I've got tons of flowers out here, and there are more wildflowers out here than ever. My goldenrod, my sweet goldenrod, I can't say mine, God's sweet goldenrod, because I didn't plan it. It usually is just a haven for pollinators, and I'm doing good if I see one pollinator around it. Last summer, I struggled to harvest just one like frond of goldenrod because there are so many pollinators around it. So our food supply is going to be problematic, as if it isn't already. But if you haven't already started looking into foraging, I highly recommend doing so. If you live in the Midwest, Midwest Foraging by Lisa M. Rose, I just looked at the book, is an excellent, excellent book. I highly recommend it. I hope this has been informative to you. If so, please give us a like below. Go check out our Patreon channel. It's pretty new right now as of this post, but we have exclusive content that'll be on there. You'll be able to search. I'm working on copying most of our posts, our blog posts, which I think we've got like 123 blog posts, so that's a lot. Working on copying and pasting all those over there, and you'll be able to have a say in what content you see from us. So if there's something that you want to see researched, head over to Patreon. You can join for just $1 a month, and that will help us to continue to share information, truth, and hope with the world. Thanks for being here. Have a great day.